This is your life as a secret millionaire. By 45, you're retired, collecting about 70 grand a year for life. A millionaire in your 30s, and you never even went to college. 4 levels get you there, and most people quit at the very first one. Level 1. The applicant. You're a year out of high school, 19 years old, stocking shelves for a company that wouldn't notice if you vanished. Your net worth is pretty much zero. But one night, a buddy sends you a link. The FAA is hiring air traffic controllers, regular people off the street. No aviation family, no flight hours, no degree. 1 year of solid work history can qualify you. Someone's got to keep every airplane in the sky on path every single second, and the government can't find enough people to do it. So it pays. And buried in the paperwork is the real prize. A clock. Give this chair 25 years and the government pays you for the rest of your life. Not a savings account you drain. A pension. Remember that clock. But first, the walls. You got to be under 31 when you apply. There are rare exceptions, but for you it's a hard cutoff. The government wants your early years. You're well under 31, so the door's open. You apply that night. Then the first gatekeeper. The ATSA 3.5 hours on a computer that measures how your brain juggles. Numbers flash and vanish, and you gotta pull them back from memory while shapes drift across the screen and you do math in your head all at once. About a third of everybody who takes it gets eliminated by the score. You pass. Not because you're a genius. Because you practiced until the shapes stopped scaring you. Then a medical exam, a psychological screening, a background check. Followed by months of silence. Then one morning, an email. Report to Oklahoma City. The FAA Academy. This is where the dream gets real and the paycheck gets insulting. Count it with me. As an academy trainee, you're making about $23 an hour. That's the entry fee. Every day you run fake airplanes through a fake sky while an evaluator grades every word out of your mouth. Historically, about a third of the people who start the academy never finish it. The sharpest guy in your class, flashcards at lunch, freezes for 10 seconds in his final evaluation. 10 seconds. He packs his bags that night. But not you. You pass. And the FAA assigns you to a real facility, with real airplanes and real people inside them. That clock I told you about. It's about to start ticking. Level 2. The Developmental. Your new building is a tower in a mid-sized city, maybe a dark radar room with no windows at all. You're not certified yet, and everybody in there knows it. But count the paycheck, because it just jumped. Somewhere between $55,000 and $69,000 a year with locality pay, and it climbs with every position you pass. More money than you've ever made. And this is the level where the money machine switches on. 2 things happen the moment you're in. First, the pension clock is finally running. Year 1 of 25 on the board. Second, free money. The government runs a retirement account for its people, the TSP, and here's the deal. Put in at least 5%, and the agency adds up to 5% of your pay in free money, every paycheck. Since you're smart, you set it up in week 1, because your future self is watching. Now earn it. You plug in your headset next to an instructor who's been doing this for 15 years and their hand never drifts far from the override. The first time you key the mic on a frequency full of real airplanes, your voice shakes. On the other end, a captain with 200 people behind them does exactly what your voice says. You clear your first airplane to land, ground, tower, departure, arrival. Every position has its own evaluations, and failing too many ends the whole ride. 8 months in, after the worst debrief of your life, you sit in the parking lot and think about quitting. The instructor's voice is still in your ears. You were behind the airplanes today. Get ahead of them. You go back in the next morning anyway, slowly. Position by position, the picture slows down for you. The paycheck climbs while you do. Past 70, past 85, past $100,000 a year, and you're still not fully certified. Then, one day, the training team signs the last page and hands you 3 letters that change everything. CPC, Certified Professional Controller. Welcome to the next level, where the money stops being cute. Level 3, the Certified Professional Controller. Count it out loud because you earned it. Certified controllers average over $155,000 a year. Slower facilities pay less, the busy ones pay more, but that's the average. You run your own sectors now. No instructor. No hand near the override. Just you, a scope, and every person flying through your piece of the sky. Let me show you 8 seconds of this job. Friday evening, the arrival push. 9 jets lined up on final approach, one behind another, all pointed at the same strip of concrete. You're calling speeds and sliding departures out through the gaps. Then it happens. You tell a regional jet, descend and maintain 4,000. And the pilot, tired at the end of a 12-hour day, repeats it back wrong. 3,000. One word off. And 3,000 is exactly where a heavy jet is crossing underneath, 300 people on board. Two airplanes, now aimed at the same piece of sky. Nearly 400 people between them, and the only thing wrong is one syllable. In all that radio chatter, your ear catches it. You key up. Negative. Maintain 4,000. I say again, maintain 4,000. The pilot corrects. You turn the heavy 20 degrees for spacing anyway, because you don't gamble with almost. The gap holds. 8 seconds, start to finish. The frequency rolls on. 11 minutes later, 80 people walk off that regional jet complaining about the legroom, and they'll never know you stopped a possible crash that could have ended everything. That's the job. That's why this chair pays what it pays. Now here's what it's quietly doing to your net worth. You're about 25, and the real climb starts. You max the retirement account. $24,500 a year going in, the agency stacking its free money on top. You buy a modest house, start chipping at the mortgage, and invest a little more on the side. Now run the numbers on the account alone. Max it for 10 years, and if the market averages 7%, and that's a hope, not a promise, it grows to about $446,000 by the time you're 35. From one account, on a job that never asked you for a degree. Stack the house equity and the side investing on top, and somewhere around 37 your net worth is kicking down the door of $1 million. Kicking. Whether it actually gets through that door, I'll tell you at the end. But nothing here is free, so here's the cost. The schedule is called the Rattler, and it earns the name. 2 afternoon shifts, 2 early mornings, then a midnight, all packed inside the same week. Your body never learns what time it is. You sleep behind blackout curtains at 2 in the afternoon and stare at the ceiling at 4 in the morning. You replay transmissions in the shower. You snap at people you love over nothing. Your partner eats dinner alone on Christmas because airplanes don't take holidays off, and neither do you. Plenty of controllers keep their marriages together. Plenty don't. That pension isn't a gift. It's the government admitting this job wears people out. Which is exactly why the next level exists. Level 4. The ceiling and the payoff this whole climb was for. You're in your late 30s or early 40s now, an experienced controller at one of the busiest facilities in the country. Stack the pay one last time. Locality, night pay, Sunday pay, holiday pay. And overtime, so much overtime, because the system is short thousands of controllers, and somebody has to cover. At this level, you're making $162,000 to $200,000 a year, and a few controllers clear even more. But the salary is only half the story. Remember the clock? Here's what it was building the whole time. The pension runs on a formula. Every year banks 1.7% of the average of your best 3 years of pay and a little less after your first 20. Hit 25 years, and that's 39% for life. Say your best 3 years average $140,000 to $180,000. 39% of that is about $70,000 a year, before taxes, every year, until the day you die. Call it about 70 grand a year for life, and you can start collecting at 45, not 65, 45. The government actually forces the issue, because controllers have to hang up the headset at 56 no matter what. This career is built to end early, and since your pension starts long before Social Security ever could, the government adds a bridge payment on top, a supplement sized to roughly match what you earn toward Social Security on this job. It's not Social Security, and it stops at 62. It's a bridge. It carries you across, so picture it. A Tuesday morning just past your 45th birthday. The headset hangs on a hook. You're on a lake with a fishing rod while everyone you went to school with grinds toward 20 more years of Mondays. 70 grand lands every year without you touching a thing. The bridge payment rides on top until 62. A nest egg behind it, a house that's pretty much paid off. You started this story stocking shelves. You started this career sweating in an Oklahoma classroom for about $23 an hour. Nobody at that lake will ever guess what you did. That's the ceiling. And almost nobody reaches it, for one simple reason. Almost nobody gives it the 25 years. Now the debunk, because this channel doesn't do inflated numbers and this job attracts them. You've seen the thumbnails. Controllers make $300,000 a year. Here's the truth. That number exists, but barely, for a tiny handful at the busiest buildings, stacking brutal overtime year after year. The honest number is the national median, about $148,000 a year. Half make more, half make less. Still one of the best deals in America for a job with no degree, and the Millionaire by 30 stuff some channels push. Inflated. At 30, you're only a few years certified. The math isn't there yet. Millionaire by your late 30s is real, but this is what it takes. You max the account every single year. You invest roughly another $25,000 a year on top of it. You build about $200,000 of equity in a house. You keep the debt low, and the market spends a decade cooperating. Miss a piece, and you get there a bit later. But here's the part nobody can inflate and nobody can take away. Survive the 25 years, and the pension and the early exit are about as guaranteed as money gets. Retired in your mid-40s if you start young, paid for life. So what actually separates the people who get this from everybody else? Two things. When one wrong syllable puts 400 people in the same piece of sky, can you stay calm while 8 seconds decides everything? And harder than that, can you keep showing up while the rattler grinds you down for 25 straight years? Most people can't do the 8 seconds. Almost nobody does the 25 years. The salary was never the secret. The secret was the pension, and the 25 years nobody's willing to give it. Which level would you have quit at? Tell me below.